Hey all, welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and today I have for you guys my build of the Blue Eyes White Dragon deck. Now this deck actually specializes in fusion summoning, synchro summoning, and Xyz summoning, so it encompasses all of that. And I want to thank Team APS for the inspiration to build another Blue Eyes deck. I was watching their videos, as I do sometimes. I do quite enjoy them. And I saw that Paul posted his Blue Eyes deck profile, and it really revitalized my my whole thought of this deck. And he actually put in something that I also really love. He had a Cyber Dragon engine in there to get out Cyber Dragon, Nova, and then eventually Infinity. So that led me to want to build my own deck that kind of focuses on having all three of those types of monsters, Fusion, Synchro, and Xyz. Just like my DDD deck, I also really enjoy having all that access to the extra deck, and I think that this is going to be a good deck to have probably up until Link Summoning really becomes a standard rule set here in the TCG. Even though I think you could sub out some of these cards in the extra deck for Link monsters and they will run just fine as well. So honestly, I'm not too sure how this is going to play out in the new format, but for right now it's very competitive and I really do enjoy it. And moving right into the deck profile, we have three just vanilla Blue Eyes White Dragons, the OG art, the original, my favorite for sure. I do like some of the new ones, but this always holds a special place in my heart. And then we also have three Blue Eyes alternative White Dragons. So this card is just brought out by revealing a Blue Eyes card in your hand, and then you can just special summon it. And it just has the additional effect of once per turn you can destroy a card, or destroy a monster, but it can't attack the turn that you use that effect. Now I only run two Dragon Spirits of White, and I think if I were to run three, I would probably up Trade-in, just because of all the power this deck has to search and add cards back to the hand. Trade-in would be a pretty good help, being a 3. But White Spirit Dragon, we only have a 2. This is also back row removal, so maybe sub out a Twin Twister for another one of these. I usually find myself gravitating towards just 2 right now, though. Maybe 3 if you want to up Silver Cry a little bit more, but I think 2 is a pretty standard set for that. So moving on, we have 3, the White Stone of Ancients. So this basically, if it's in the graveyard at the end phase, the turn it was sent there, you can special summon a Blue Eyes from your deck. So that's really, really powerful right there. But also, an additional thing is you can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one Blue Eyes in your graveyard and add back to your hand. So that works really well with all those level 8 monsters you have, just to kind of replenish and go off your combo plays there. Now I only have one, the White Stone of Legends in this deck. I do also have another one in the side deck. I just feel like with all the other cards to move stuff to your hand and recycle things from your graveyard, I don't really think 2 is needed, especially with the amount of cards we have here for level 1 tuners. I think that that's okay, and that's why I only run 2 cards of Constants, just usually to get the one of Ancients into the graveyard. And I can see adding one more in, but then you'd kind of maybe want to add another, if you want to add 2 or 3 total White Stone of Legends, I would have more than 2 the cards of Constant there. And next up we have 3 Sage with Eyes of Blue. Now this is a really, really powerful card in this deck. So basically, when this card is normal summoned, you can add one level light tuner monster from your deck to your hand, except Sage with Eyes of Blue. Now, this is also really great because you can add Effect Veiler as one of those cards. Or you can add a White Stone of Legend if you maybe have a combo piece like Cards of Constants in your hand. Also, you can discard this card, then target an effect monster you control, and send that to the graveyard as well as this, obviously. And if you do, you can special summon a Blue Eyes monster from your deck. So that's really powerful. And of course, just having that at 3 really just keeps the deck moving, and deck thinning is deck winning. So next up, we got 1 Maiden with the Eyes of Blue. Now I do have one more in my side deck because sometimes you want to have 2, but I really just think this is a slower card now. You can bring it out if you want, that's pretty great. If you want to just stall for a turn, maybe you have a bad hand. But that's about as far as I would go with that. But mostly this is just to bring out another Blue Eyes. And it is a level 1 tuner, so it also works, so it's a little bit more situational. And then just that one Effect Veiler. I do have another one on the side deck. I think this is kind of an old hand trap. You don't really see it get as much play as it once did. But ultimately, I think having 1 is probably plenty. And then moving on to the more obscure engine in the deck, because your entire deck is all light monsters, you can actually special summon a Galaxy Soldier very easily, especially if you want to discard White Stone of Ancients or something like that. You can get even more combo plays off that and keep adding Galaxy Soldiers, and eventually you just go for the Cyber Dragon Nova and then to Infinity. So that's a really powerful set there, and it's kind of one of the more Xyz stations of the deck, because a lot of the other times you're going to be either making synchro plays for level 9s, or you're just going to be going for twin Blue Eyes or the first dragon. And then of course, in like every deck profile right now, I think Max C is just essential. It really does allow you to stay super competitive and just make sure that you kind of keep your opponent in check, maybe slow them down for a turn, or you just reap the benefits of that insane turn that they just took. Alright, and moving on to our spell lineup, which makes up the remainder of the deck, as we have no trap cards in this deck profile at all, not even in the side deck. We have 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lord. So this is basically the monster born of the deck. You can special summon a dragon monster from your graveyard. It has to be level 7 or 8, so you can't bring back your level 9 synchros. But still, this is insanely powerful, especially for the white spirit dragon there, because he is back row removal. But the secondary effect of this card, Return of the Dragon Lords, is that you can banish it from the graveyard to negate the destruction, either by card effect or by battle, of a dragon monster you control. So that's pretty great right there. I also run 2 The Melody of Awakening Dragons. So discard 1 card, pretty great for this deck, as you don't really mind discarding cards, as you do also have a lot of draw power. But you can add up to 2 dragon monsters with 3,000 or more attack and 2,500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. So basically what you want to do is you want to grab a Blue Eyes and you want to grab a Blue Eyes alternative, and then you pretty much have your combo set there. I also run 2 Dragon Shrines, so you can just send a dragon monster from your deck to the graveyard, any one this time, not a level limit or an attack limit, and if that monster is a dragon type normal monster, which Dragon White Spirit and the vanilla Blue Eyes are, you can send 1 more to the graveyard, so that's pretty great there. And I know I say that's pretty great, but a lot of this stuff is really great. It has great synergy. And then just to end that off, we have Silver's Cry, which I have a 2, which I might toss down to 1. That's one of the things I'm not too sure about. You only have 5 targets, first of all, and you almost always want to go for White Spirit Dragon, because that is, once again, the backbone removal. So you just grab any normal monster that's a dragon type, and you can special summon that. Silver Cry, it's so-so. I think it's less so now, but still quite effective. And then lastly, we also have Soul Charge, just massive revival at the cost of your life points in your battle phase, but still very useful in this deck for those powerful monsters you can bring back. Now, moving on to the fusion aspect of this deck. So we have 1 Polymerization, classic art again. Now this is basically just to fusion summon cards when they're stuck in your hand, because Dragon's Mirror only works with cards on the field or your graveyard. So that's why I have 1 of each. And I do have 2 more Dragon Mirrors in my side deck, which I sometimes like to add in if I'm trying to focus on a more fusion heavy match. There is also the ability that you can summon Blue Eyes Twin Dragon by just using 2 Blue Eyes monsters you control. You don't have to use Polymerization. But sometimes you can't bring those cards out, so I think having 1 Polymerization is kind of key. And then Dragon's Mirror, obviously, you can bring out anything you need really easily. And I also have 5-Headed Dragon, which is more just a fun card to have in there. You could definitely sub that out with any other extra deck cards you want. I just kind of thought it was in there because sometimes you need just a little bit more attack. So I do have that in there. It's very difficult to get off, but it's quite effective in the end. And for, nostalgia. And then moving on, we only have 2 trade-ins. Like I said, the 3rd trade-ins over in the side deck to help supplement if we were to add in another White Spirit Dragon. And as well, similar to the trade-in, we have Cards of Constants, so we do have a lot of choices for that. We have a total of 4, and the ability to search for those, so that's super easy. So we do have 2 Cards of Constants. And then just for the last little bit of draw power, we also have an Upstart Goblin. You just really want to be moving through cards in this deck. Deck thinning is deck winning, so you just got to keep going. The quicker you draw combo pieces, the better. And lastly, we got 2 Twin Twisters. This deck doesn't really mind discarding, can really help with those combos. And ultimately, you just want to get rid of more back row, as you really don't have that much protection for your Blue Eyes. And then moving on to the extra deck, of course, we have that 5-Headed Dragon we mentioned. We also have a Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. So this is just an upgraded version of the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, where you can send Blue Eyes fusion monsters from your extra deck to the graveyard, and this card can attack again in a row. Kind of situational. Kind of when you need the power is when you go into this. It's, again, situational. But if this card's in the graveyard, it acts like Return of the Dragon Lords, where if your Blue Eyes would maybe be targeted for an effect, you can banish this card and negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And the cards you would be sending for that effect, Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon, is also a card that you don't always want to bring out, but it can be really helpful. Maybe one of your Blue Eyes is incapacitated for any reason. You can just get rid of it, and this is kind of an alternative to that, where you can attack twice during each battle phase. If you're attacking monsters, where this card can then make 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase, And then when this card attacks the opponent monster, but the opponent monster was not destroyed by battle, you can banish that monster. So this is just kind of gets over some of those walls. And another card that I think is really great that we actually have a quite easy time bringing out, especially with Dragon's Mirror, is just 2 normal monsters for First the Dragons. So that's really cool, and of course it has kind of synergy, kinda. But this is more of your defensive wall if you need to stall for a little bit, as it cannot be destroyed by battle and it's unaffected by other card effects. So that's really awesome. Of course it can be destroyed by normal monsters, but really not too many people playing normal monsters. And then moving on to our Synchro section, we have 2 Azure Eyes Silver Dragon. So this is a pretty great card right here. Now this is a special summon dragon type monster you control, cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. Really great there. And then also once per turn during your standby phase, you can target a normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So it just acts like Silver Cry, because it's a silver dragon. And then playing on that theme, we also have Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. So this card is pretty awesome. Now this card, what it can do is neither player can special summon 2 or more monsters at the same time. So that's really great for shutting down possible pendulum plays. And then once per turn during the player's turn, when an effect of a card is activated, you can negate that activation. Crazy. I would even run this at 3, but I think 2 is a pretty healthy number for this. And then also you can tribute this card, tribute the Synchro Summon card, special one Light Dragon Synchro monster from your extra deck. So that's also something you can do. A reason I clarified that point right there is with Cloud Castle, another card that I run just to help out with the rank 9s. So when this card is Synchro Summoned, you can target 1 level 9 monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. So maybe you won't be able to get off that second effect of the blue, or like it would be the third effect of the Blue Eye Spirit Dragon, because Cloud Castle grabs them from the graveyard. And then also, this is a great stall because level 8 or lower monsters can attack the turn they are normal summoned or special summoned. So that's a pretty great stall there. Now, I don't have any in my extra deck right now because I don't really know what to take out. I would probably take out a 5-headed dragon and a First of the Dragon, but I have 2 rank 9s in my side deck I'll show you guys, and you can kind of fiddle around with that as you like. But Cloud Castle can bring back one of those, and then you could possibly Xyz with it for one of those powerful rank 9s. But speaking of the ranks, we have a rank 8, Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon, just a powerful beat stick there. And also you can equip 2 equip spells, but you don't really have any equip spells in this deck, so that's just kind of a backdoor right there. But it takes 3 level 8 monsters, so that's got to be something you're aware of. You don't normally find yourself with 3. Usually 2 is very, very common, but yeah, you can get 3 out pretty simple if you're trying to go for that. But because there's 2, number 38, that's a really common staple for a lot of extra decks, especially with rank 8 access, and especially you can stop spell cards, so that's really great. And lastly, we just have those ways to get out Cyber Dragon Infinity with the Galaxy Soldier combo. Really great. Thank you, Paul, for showing me that this actually is a great engine to run with this deck. Moving on to the side deck, we have the more outdated Red Eyes Darkness Spell Dragon that I really wanted to have in this deck, but it's slow, doesn't really work as much as it used to. Yet it's still at 1. I understand why, but not really a card I think should be ran too often. Just the extra White Spirit Dragon, and then just the extra Dragon Spirit of White, the extra Stone of Legend, extra Maiden, and then we also have 2 Honest because most of everything in this deck is light, and if you just want to go for some extra attack, get over something, just hurt your opponent's life points just immensely, 2 Honest. It's the max you can run. I have them on the side deck just if the deck calls for that. And then an extra Effect Veiler. Alright, so now here comes the rank 9. So we have number 9, Dyson Sphere. So basically, this is a great stall card because it can stop attacks just by detaching Xyz material, and it can replenish the Xyz material by grabbing monsters from your graveyard. It's a pretty great stall there. And you can also detach one during your main phase 1, and it can attack your opponent directly. But like I said, it just has to have monsters with, your opponent has to have monsters that are above, well, 2800. And then I also have Phantom Fortress Enter Bladnir, or however you could say that. But it's really great. You can detach one Xyz material from this card and have 4 possible effects, and that's just another great stall card. Has decent attack at 2800, so, or 2900, my bad, sorry. 2900. Just powerful along there. A lot of your 9s only have 2500 attacks. These ranks are actually a lot more powerful than just having maybe 2 of those out, but all situational. And then just to round off that side deck, we also have 2 Galaxy Cyclones just from back row removal, and then another Twin Twister, same thing. Some extra Dragon Mirrors to help fusion summon, and then the third trade-in if you want to maybe add in the Spirit Dragon into the main deck. I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hope you liked my take on this deck profile. I have been using it a little bit, and I really do enjoy it. It definitely is competitive. I'd say so. Not maybe top deck, but it's still really fun, and definitely locally totally fun. Very, very powerful indeed. If you can get your pieces off, it's quite an efficient deck, and it really does what it does well, and it has a lot of options, and I really wanted to give this deck as many options as I could, and it really doesn't worry about protection as much, and it just goes for as much power as possible. So ultimately, I do hope you enjoyed. I hope to catch you in the next one, and as always, peace.